So I haven't heard
We'll
anything
just cut
back.
off this part and that thing, yeah.
Yeah.
General counsel, do we have a quorum?
Kind of move that way.
Chair, you do have a quorum.
Excellent, thank you. Good morning. My name is Ann Valentine. I'm here representing the Lieutenant Governor. I'm calling to order the June 2022 meeting of the IHCDA Board of Directors. We are meeting pursuant to this board's policy for participation by members of the IHCDA Board of Directors in board meetings by simultaneous electronic communication. This means that only 3 members must be physically present at the site of the meeting, and the remaining members may call in. There will be an audio feed for the general public so that members of the public can listen to the meeting, and there will be a video link recording posted on IHCDA's website next month. At the time the motions are being made, each board member that makes a motion must state his or her first and last name for the record. The votes will then be tallied by roll call. I will now take a roll call of the board members to confirm members who are present and their location. Ann Valentine, designee for Lieutenant Governor Suzanne Crouch, here. Mark Pascarella, designee for State Public Finance Director Dan Hughey.
Here and present in Indianapolis.
Thank you. Brian Locke, designee for Treasurer of the State, Kelly Mitchell.
Here, present in person.
Board Member J. June Midkiff.
Here remotely.
Thank you. Board Member Andy Place Sr.
Here remotely.
Thank you. Board Member G. Michael Schoppmeyer.
Here present.
Board Member Tom McGowan.
Here, present.
Thank you. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the May 26, 2022 board meeting. Board, do we have any questions regarding the May 26, 2022 minutes? Seeing none, may I have a motion to approve?
Tom McGowan, motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
Mark Pascarella, second.
Okay.
All right, I will take a roll call. Ann Valentine, aye. Mark Pascarella,
Aye.
Ryan Locke,
Aye.
J. June Midkiff,
Aye.
Andy Place Sr.,
Aye.
G. Michael Schoppmeyer,
Aye.
Tom McGowan.
Aye.
Hearing no one opposed, the motion passes unanimously. I'd like to now welcome Alan Rakowski, who will provide the monthly update regarding the tax credit assistance program policy and delegated authority.
Good morning. I'm Alan Rakowski, the Director of Real Estate Allocation here at IHCDA. Here to provide the monthly TCAP update. TCAP stands for the Tax Credit Assistance Program. In pursuant to the delegated authority granted to IHCDA's Deputy Executive Director and Chief Real Estate Development Officer on September 23rd and extended on March 24th, we have made 2 more TCAP awards under this policy. They were made after the last board meeting. So today we have 2 projects to update you on that were negatively impacted by cost increases, which is the reason they applied for this gap source. The 2 projects are Broadway Lots in Gary. MBAH Development LLC is the developer. It's a new construction project, and they were awarded $500,000 in TCAP. And Retreat at the Switchyard in Bloomington, Real America Development LLC is the developer. It's also new construction, and a $500,000 loan was awarded to them in June. This brings the total number of approvals to 16 projects, totaling $7,342,411 in TCAP funding. Be happy to answer any questions.
One question, what are you seeing from these groups in terms of cost increases? Have they been communicating that to you in terms of maybe where they originally started to where they are today on their costs, just as a percentage of increase?
Yeah, it does vary. You know, this all was kind of started when we started hearing about the construction cost increases towards the beginning of last year up and through the summer. So we implemented this policy. You know, what we're hearing is it's a lot of it's related to cost materials. Lumber was the kind of the big thing we heard first. And it varies. You know, this policy is set so that we can do up to 500,000 and it has to be the last in. So we're, you know, each project has different gaps we're working with, but they're able to, in each of these cases, find other sources if it's more than $500,000 in the bill. So,
Find those one. Okay.
Yeah.
I will say, just to the board as a whole, I mean, we are seeing somewhere close to 20% increases, which is pretty amazing across the board. So obviously a challenge for a lot of your groups right now.
Any other questions? Since this is an update, the vote is not required. Thank you, Alan. And now you will
Thanks, Alan.
present the bond volume /4% credits for the reserve on park.
Yes, so the reserve on park is the final application we received and reviewed as part of the 2021 bond application round. It has a total development cost of just over 33 million. They're requesting 24 million in bond volume and 1,609,217 in tax credits. And it will create 187 units of affordable housing. The project is also requesting a $500,000 development fund loan. The developer of this project is Leo Brown Group. They are proposing this new construction project of 187 age-restricted units in Fort Wayne. It's in a good location near the Parkview Regional Medical Center campus. It also will be adjacent to a senior living campus, which includes skilled nursing facilities, memory care, market-rate senior housing, and a fully accessible recreation area designed for the senior population and open to the public. An array of on-site services will be available for the tenants, highlighted by literacy classes, medication pickup, community engagement activities. The development will serve households at 40, 60, and 80% AMI levels and contain efficiencies, 1-bedrooms and 2-bedroom units. During the round, the real estate staff reviewed the application to make sure it met the requirements of 2022 QAP. On page 2, I also want to call your attention to key performance indicators, which is now complete for the 2021 bond round. So what you'll see is a map that shows where the deals are located that we funded in 2021, and then also below, you see the bullet points that have totals for the year. So one important takeaway from this is the bond program continues to be a very effective tool. Primarily, or the majority of the units are preserving units, which you'll see by the figure on the percentage of the rehabilitation. And also serving families, with almost 3/4 of the units in 2021 designated as traditional multifamily. So those are two takeaways we've seen through these metrics, and we'll continue to track metrics for 2022 as well. So the staff recommends the allocation of 24 million in bond volume, 1,609,217 in annual tax credits, and also the $500,000 development fund loan. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
One more question.
Sure.
So obviously everyone's running into these cost issues. So my assumption is the vast majority of people will now ask for the 500,000 fund loan. So how does one decipher in terms of who is qualified for that versus who is not, understanding that everyone's in the same scenario in this unique period that we'll be in for a couple of years?
Yeah, so the policy allows with the tax credit and bond application, it's a supplemental source that every deal is eligible to.
Okay, so
Everyone's eligible for it. We do an underwriting to make sure that there is actually that $500,000 gap, but it is open to every project that's going to.
that answered my question. Thank you.
Brian?
Yeah, and mine is just a general question. These KPIs have been great. I've added them to all the projects over the years. Just wondering, do we have kind of a goal that we're trying to hit for these? Like looking at these ones specifically, the numbers look awesome, but is there a total unit amount that we're seeing a gap in the market that we're driving towards, or is there a way to kind of put these into perspective?
Yeah, I think I wouldn't say we have a goal yet. I think it's more a case of analyzing what we've been doing. And then as we continue to look at this resource, which I think will continue to be more used, with the state housing credit on the horizon next year, we see that the bond program is going to be more highly subscribed to, I think. So this is going to help us see, when we begin to set policy for that, are there certain types of projects that maybe are not getting created that should be? So I think this is really kind of in the beginning stages for us to see what are the trends and if there's any policy decisions we should make to help guide it. If there's markets, if there's units or types of products that are being left out.
Awesome.
All right. I think you covered the resolution in your presentation. Or do you want me to
I'll
read
read
it again?
I didn't read it word for word, so.
Thank you.
Staff respectfully requests that the board approve the following resolution. Resolved that the board approve awarding 24 million in bond value, 1,609,217 in annual high-tech, and 500,000 in development fund to LBG BH Parkview LLC for the reserve on park according to the terms of the 2021 AV application round as recommended by staff.
All right, board, we have a resolution before us. I will entertain a motion.
Andy, place motion to accept.
Mike Schotmeyer, second.
Thank you. I will now take roll. Ann Valentine, aye. Mark Pascarella?
Aye.
Ryan Locke?
Aye.
J. June Midkiff?
Aye.
Andy Place Senior?
Aye.
G. Michael Schotmeyer?
Aye.
Tom McGowan?
Aye.
Hearing no one opposed, the motion passes unanimously. Thank you for that, Alan. And you, Alan, will now be presenting bond volume 4% credits for 46 flats.
Yes, correct. So this is the second of three that I have today. 46 flats is the fifth application received during the 2022 bond round. Its total development cost is just under 32 million, requesting 26.8 million in bond volume and 1,533,300,000 in tax credits. It will create 122 units of affordable housing. They are also requesting $500,000 development fund loan. The developer is Partnership for Affordable Housing, and they're proposing is a 173 unit new construction family development in Indianapolis. It will be located at the intersection of Allisonville Road and 46th Street, and also will entail the demolition of 4 vacant office buildings, making way for this new housing development, and also helping to revitalize the site that had suffered from disinvestment. It'll be comprised of 1 and 2 bedroom units, serving households at 50 and 60% AMI. They will be feature 5 residential only buildings and 1 building with a mix of residential units, community space, and a 14,250 square foot area of commercial space intended to be rented to resident service providers. During the round, the staff ensured that it met the criteria set forth in the 2022 QAP. And for key performance indicators, you'll see that we've begun tracking information for applications in 2022, including 2 other deals that are being presented on the agenda today. So just the early statistics so far on our 2022 bond round. So the recommendation is for the 26,800,000 in bond volume, 1,533,300 in tax credits, and $500,000 development fund loan. I'd be happy to take any questions.
One quick one. I should ask this before. Leo Brown, are they out of Fort Wayne or where?
Their office address is Indianapolis on the north
It's
side.
Indianapolis, okay. And then same question as it relates to this deal. Where are they out of?
Partnership.
Partnership.
They're on the north side of Indianapolis.
North
They're
side.
essentially they're the not-for-profit wing of house investments. So they're.
Oh, it's house, okay. It's interesting to know who these groups are. Thank you.
Any other questions? We're ready for the resolution.
Staff respectfully request that the board approve the following resolution. Resolved that the board approve awarding 26,800,000 in bond volume, 1,533,300 in annual tax credits, and 500,000 in development fund to 46 flats LP, 46 flats according to the terms of the 2022 AV application round as recommended by staff.
Board, we have a resolution before us. I will entertain a motion.
Tom McGowan, move to approve.
Mike Chopmeyer, second.
Thank you. I will now do roll call. Ann Valentine, aye. Mark Pascarella.
Aye.
Ryan Locke.
Aye.
J. June Midkiff.
Aye.
Andy Place Senior.
Aye.
G. Michael Shopmeyer.
Aye.
Tom McGowan.
Aye.
Hearing no one opposed, the motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Alan, you'll now present the bond volume / 4% credits for Bradford Lake.
Yes. So Bradford Lake was the first application received in the 2022 bond round, which began on January 1st. It has a total development cost of just under 44.5 million. It's requesting 25 million in bond volume and 1,849,408 in annual tax credits. It will be preserving 357 units of affordable housing. G&B and Glick Housing Foundation is proposing to rehab the Bradford Lake Apartments. It's on the south side of Indianapolis. It was originally built in 1971. It's 22 two-story multifamily townhome buildings and 16 two-story multi-unit apartment buildings. The renovation will include updated kitchen, bathrooms, new interior and exterior doors, replacement of HVAC system, new roof systems, increased ADA accessibility, and more. Furthermore, this rehab will help to preserve an affordable community where 135 of these units are covered by a Section 8 contract. During the round, the staff reviewed the application to ensure it met the criteria of the 2022 QAP. Is for 25 million in bond volume, 1,849,408 in annual tax credits to Bradford Lake Housing LP for Bradford Lake Apartments. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
No questions? Alan, we're ready for the resolution.
Okay. Staff respectfully requests the board approve the following resolution. Resolved that the board approve awarding 25 million in bond volume and 1,849,408 in annual light tech to Bradford Lake Housing LP for Bradford Lake according to the terms of the 2022 AV application round as recommended by staff.
Board, we have a resolution before us. I will entertain a motion.
Ryan Locke, move to approve.
Tom McGowan, second.
right, I will now take roll. Ann Valentine, aye. Mark Pascarella?
Aye.
Ryan Locke?
Aye.
Jay June Midkiff?
Aye.
Andy Place Senior?
Aye.
Michael Shopmeyer?
Aye.
Tom McGowan?
Aye.
Hearing no one opposed, the motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Al.
Thank you.
Please welcome Peter Nelson, who will also present the bond volume / 4% credits for Nicholas Landing.
Good morning, board. Couldn't let Alan have all the fun recommending bond volume today. I am here this morning to recommend Nicholas Landing Apartments. So this was the fourth application we received and reviewed as part of the 2022 bond round. It is a total development cost of just about $48.5 million. They are requesting $35 million in bond volume and just over $3.2 million in annual LIHTC. They are creating 252 units of affordable housing. This is a development by SoCare Inc. They are an affiliate of Beacon Properties out of Louisville, Kentucky. It will be the new construction of 152 units in an apartment community serving families who earn up to 60% of the area median income in Clarksville. The project will consist of 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units, have a lot of amenities for the project, a lot of project amenities that focus on kind of gathering space and physical activity. So dog parks, walking path, pool, courtyards, playground, pickleball court. And then the site is really close by to a lot of local amenities as well, a grocery store, retail shopping, restaurants, urgent care, some parks, and just down the road from the Clarksville Community Center. Staff reviewed this application to make sure it met the criteria of the 2022 Qualified Allocation Plan, and we are happy to recommend the full amount of bond volume and tax credits that they are requesting. I'm happy to take any questions before the resolution.
Any questions?
I have a general question.
Yeah.
So on the Glick project, it was 357 units, 135 that would be deemed affordable. This one's 252 with 152 affordable. How does that work in terms of the selection process as it relates to that ratio? Is it just part of the scale and one of the items that ties into that whole decision? I was just curious of the ratios and how that works of affordability versus the gross number.
Just how we look at the amount of volume that we're willing to award versus the number of units. And
So
yeah.
it relates specific to the sizing of the volume
So-
versus the ratio, I see.
We'll look at it kind of holistically. So
Right.
we'll see, do the costs make sense for what they're trying to do? So this one is new construction. We see that typically costs a little bit more than
Sure.
certain
Yeah.
rehab projects. So certainly that's something we look at, and we do in our application get a full budget. And, by the time they're requesting on the back end, their 8609s to claim these tax credits,
Right.
they'll have a finalized budget that we'll also take a look at, make sure that every one of their costs is eligible to be put in what's called the eligible basis to get those tax credits. So yeah, that's something that we just kind of take a look at holistically and make sure all the costs make sense.
I'd never asked that. It was just interesting thought. Okay, appreciate it.
Tom, I do think you bring up a good point, which is, I don't think we really talked about it much, but the application process for any tax credit deal, whether it be a 9% deal or a 4% deal, is that there's actually 2 applications. This is the initial application where we do the underwriting based on projections. And we look at market rate units and the affordable units together and looking at their rents and their operating expenses and projecting that over 15 years. When the development is built and placed in service, then that is time for us to actually issue the 8609s, which is actually the credits. So the developer has to submit another application to us that finalizes all of their costs that has been done by a third-party CPA firm that verifies all of these are the total development cost and which is eligible for the basis, which Peter was describing, allows them then to claim those credits.
So the final allocation
final
of actual.
application,
Okay.
yes, yes.
That's
So this is all preliminary,
Gotcha.
but there is another application, and it won't be for another 2 years or so because of the development,
Sure.
construction period. And then once it gets placed in service and leased up, that's when we'll do another deeper dive into the actual cost thing. That is also done through a third party firm that will also take a look at that as well. So we underwrite these deals twice right now, which is very preliminary.
Yeah.
And then again, at the back end, before they actually get their credits. So what we're doing today is really just reserving those credits for them. Once it's placed in service, we can verify those costs. I think that's important because I don't think we've ever talked about that as a board.
Yeah.
Understanding like there's actually, the application process is actually 2 applications.
That's good to
actually
know.
come to us. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the clarification, Jake.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, kind of on the front end, we'll look at market study as well to see what makes sense and the comps. And then, as Jake mentioned, kind of on the back end, there'll be those certified costs that we'll look at when we underwrite as well.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Peter, I think we're ready for the resolution.
Absolutely. Staff respectfully request the board approve the following resolution. Resolved that the board approve awarding $35 million in bond volume and $2,301,697 in annual LIHTC to Nicholas Landing LLLP for Nicholas Landing Apartments according to the terms of the 2022 AB application round as recommended by staff.
All right, we have a resolution before us. I will entertain a motion.
Tom McGowan, move for approval.
Mike Schopmeyer, second.
Thank you. I will take roll call. Ann Valentine, aye. Mark Pascarella.
Aye.
Ryan Locke.
Aye.
J. June Midkiff.
Aye.
Andy Place Senior.
Aye.
G. Michael Schopmeyer.
Aye.
Tom McGowan.
Aye.
Hearing no one opposed, the motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Peter, you will also now present the monthly update for the Development Fund Policy and Delegated Authority.
Yes, so this development fund policy is very similar to the TCAP policy that Alan had described earlier. This initial policy was approved by the board on November 18th of 2021 and then extended on March 24th of this year. So it does give our deputy executive director authority to take the actions necessary to distribute these funds to home developments that have been negatively impacted by cost increases. So the 2 that we have awarded since the May board meeting are both projects by New Hope Development Services. They are Rockport Homes and White River Landing in Rockport and Petersburg, respectively. Very similar projects. They're both new construction. Both requested and received an award of $500,000. So with these 2 projects, that brings the total number of awards for this through this development fund policy to 4, totaling just over $1.8 million in development fund funding for this policy. Happy to take any questions on this.
Hearing none, this is an update, so a vote is not required. Thank you, Peter. And now you will present the additional CHDO operating funding for La Casa Inc.
Yeah, so this isn't something that we see a ton. So I'm going to dig into the background a little bit just to make sure the board is aware of this process. So our home funding can be used not only just for the creation or rehab of affordable housing, but we can also award some for capacity building activities. For capacity building activities to non-for-profits that are certified as CHODO organizations. So CHODOs are non-for-profit housing organizations that meet very specific home regulations, and they come through us, submit all the documentation, we'll review that and certify them as CHODOs. And we'll do this basically anytime they come in for an allocation of home funds if they want to be certified. CHODO organizations, as I have mentioned, are eligible to receive an operating supplement that specifically goes toward the operation of their non-for-profit organization. So these funds, eligible uses include salaries, training, travel, equipment, stuff like that to really help, the operating of this organization. CHODOs may receive up to $50,000 in kind of an initial award. They are tied directly to an award of home funding that will go toward that creation of affordable housing, creation of rehab of housing. And they can exceed $50,000 essentially per project, but then can later request an additional $25,000 but receive no more than $75,000 essentially per year. So in order to request that second award, which this is what this request here today is, that second award, in order to do that, these CHODOs would have needed to have been funded in the past 12 to 24 months for their home project. And then they can only apply if they meet certain requirements. One of those is having begun construction within 12 months of their initial home award. They would also need to have drawn at least 25% of their home construction award, and then have drawn 100% of their initial CHODO operating funds. So this project, or this organization, La Casa Inc., they were initially funded through our home innovation round. So we had a few organizations that came in. They all applied as CHODOs and received some operating supplement, but they were awarded not only home awards for an innovation project in Goshen, Indiana, but they were also awarded the $50,000 in CHODO operating. Our staff has reviewed their request for the additional operating funds and verified that they met those requirements. They had started the construction on time, drawn at least 25% of their home funds, and all of their initial $50,000 operating funds. So after going through, making sure they met all the criteria, submitting their budget for what these additional $25,000 would be used for, we are happy to recommend that they receive this additional operating supplement. I think that was a bit of a lot, so happy to take any questions on this program or whatever it may be.
Tom, I feel like you've got a question.
Yeah, I'm sure you're shocked. It's great that you have the parameters, because I'm sure that's an extreme motivator for them to follow within those lines, get money out, et cetera. May not be a fair question, but any idea how many CHODOs are out in the state of Indiana?
That is a good question. So it kind of depends. Like, they can be also certified by local housing organizations.
Yeah.
So there's certainly some that are certified by, say, Muncie or Anderson that aren't certified by IHCDA.
Oh, so it's different. It's not
It can be a bit all over.
Okay.
Right now, and they also have to recertify every time they come in. So
Okay.
we have a home rental round. We have a lot come in and apply. There may be some that applied earlier in the year that may or may not be eligible, would have to recertify as they came in. So mostly we recertify as they come in, but I'd say any given time, we probably have, a dozen or so throughout the state. And we're always looking to continue to grow that.
Yeah, I would have guessed the over on that number. That's interesting.
We do have significant gaps across the state where we don't
Yeah.
have CHODOs that are serving certain counties across our state. There are gaps, and that's been a challenge for us. Under the home program, we are required to allocate, I think, 25% or 20% of our home allocation to CHODOs to do development. And this is one of the benefits of being a CHODO, is this operating dollars.
Absolutely.
So, but there are certainly gaps across our state where we need additional not-for-profits that are committed to developing affordable housing, definitely.
Interesting. Okay, thank you.
All right, I think we're ready for your resolution.
Staff respectfully requests that the board approve the following resolution. Resolved that the board approve awarding additional home CHODO operating supplement funding in the form of a grant in an amount not to exceed $25,000 to La Casa Inc. as recommended by staff.
Thank you, board. We have a resolution before us. I will entertain a motion.
Andy Place, motion for approval.
June
Tom
Midkiff,
McGowan, second. Sorry, June, I jumped you. I apologize.
got it.
All right, I will now take the roll. Ann Valentine, aye. Mark Pascarella.
Aye.
Brian Lock.
Aye.
J. June Midkiff.
Aye.
Andy Place Senior.
Aye.
G. Michael Schaffmeyer.
Aye.
Tom McGowan.
Aye.
Hearing no one opposed, the motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Pete.
Thank you.
Next up, please welcome Richard Harcourt, who will present a recommendation regarding the Southern Meadows apartment project.
Madam Chair and Board, good morning. So I have 3 different resolutions. So just as a summary, these are all the same, right? These are all transactions that you all have approved. And now we're here just to ask for the approval to be the issuer of the debt. And of course, this is non-recourse issuance, non-recourse debt. So the first one is Southern Meadows. You saw this and approved it in April of 22. It's 207 affordable units, southeast side of Indianapolis, age in place units, 32 million of tax exempt and 3 million of taxable combined in the issuance. Again, non-recourse financing, we're just the issue on it. I'd be glad to take questions.
So seeing no questions, we're ready for the resolution.
Thank you. Staff respectfully requests the board approve the following resolution. Resolved that the board approve the Series 2022 multifamily housing revenue notes, parentheses, Southern Meadows Apartments project, close parentheses, pursuant to the resolution attached hereto as Exhibit A as recommended by staff.
Thank you. Board, we have a resolution before us. I will entertain a motion.
Move for approve. Second.
Did you say your name? You guys say your name.
Mark Pascarella, move to approve. Mike Schopmeyer, second.
Thank you. We'll now take the roll. Ann Valentine, aye. Mark Pascarella.
Aye.
Ryan Locke.
Aye.
J. June Midkiff.
Aye.
Andy Place Senior.
Aye.
G. Michael Schopmeyer.
Aye.
Tom McAllen.
Aye.
Hearing no one opposed, the motion passes unanimously. Richard again, thank you. Now you will present a recommendation regarding the Claysburg 2 Tower project.
Thank you. Board, you saw this in April of 22, 228 senior housing units. This is acquisition and rehab in Jeffersonville, Indiana. The request for the non-recourse financing is for 22,300,000 in tax exempt bonds and a total of 24,300, the balance being taxable.
Any questions for Richard? All right. You have a resolution for us?
I do, Madam Chair. Staff respectfully requests the board approve the following resolution. Resolved that the board approve the Series 2022 multifamily housing revenue bonds, parentheses, Claysburg Tower project, close parentheses, pursuant to the resolution attached hereto as Exhibit A as recommended by staff.
All right. Board, we have a resolution before us. I will entertain a motion.
Andy Place, motion for approval.
Ryan Locke, second.
Thank you. I will now take the roll. Ann Valentine, aye. Mark Pascarella.
Aye.
Ryan Locke.
Aye.
J. June Midkiff.
Aye.
Andy Place Senior.
Aye.
G. Michael Schopmeyer.
Aye.
Tom McAllen.
Aye.
Hearing no one opposed, the motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Richard. Richard will now present a recommendation regarding the Nicholas Landing bond.
Nicholas Landing, 252 units, Clarksville, $35 million, 60% AMI family units. Board, you liked this 20 minutes ago. I hope you still like this as we speak.
That was very presumptuous.
Move for Mike Schopmeyer, move for approve. My apologies. You've got to read the resolution.
Yeah. Richard, would you read the resolution for us?
Yes, Madam Chair. Staff respectfully requests the board approve the following resolution. Resolved that the board approve the Series 2022 multifamily mortgage revenue note, parentheses, Nicholas Landing Apartments project, close parentheses, pursuant to the resolution attached hereto as Exhibit A as recommended by staff.
We have a
Mike
resolution.
Schopmeyer, move for approval.
In a second.
Mark Pascarella, second.
Thank you. I'll call the roll. Ann Valentine, aye. Mark Pascarella.
Aye.
Ryan Locke.
Aye.
J. June Midkiff.
Aye.
Andy Place Senior.
Aye.
G. Michael Schopmeyer.
Aye.
Tom McAllen.
Aye.
Hearing no one opposed, the motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Richard.
Thank you, board.
And now Executive Director Jacob Sipe will provide an executive update.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the board. I'll lead off with June being Homeownership Month. And IHCDA, that's a main part of our mission is to promote responsible homeownership. And so I want to thank our Lieutenant Governor, Suzanne Crouch. She attended a homeownership celebration event that we worked to coordinate in West Baden on Wednesday of this week. We had the opportunity to visit a first-time home buyer. Her name was Cody Metz. She opened up her home for us to come in and view her home that is just finished new construction. I think she just moved in May. And so we also, while we were there, we also had the opportunity to visit some other homes that were currently under construction. And that is being done through a partnership with the Orange County Economic Development Partnership and the French Lick Resort that's being developed there in West Baden. We are also joined by a couple of realtors and some local banks. So we really had a nice turnout, and it was really nice just to have the opportunity to meet the homeowner, Cody, and to hear, her excitement and knowing what homeownership means to be a first-time home buyer. So I'm really, really proud to be part of that event. Earlier this month, Governor Holcomb signed a proclamation renewing the state of Indiana's commitment to making homeownership affordable, accessible, and equitable for all Hoosiers. And so we're really proud to be able to stand behind that and continue to support homeownership across our state. So, a couple of just quick updates on a couple of programs. The Indiana Homeowner Assistance Fund. As you know, that program is designed to prevent foreclosures. And so as of June 22nd, we have received just around 4,100 applications. We've dispersed out $3.4 million of mortgage assistance. We've approved 476 applications. We currently have 820 applications that we're waiting to get approval or some information back from the mortgage loan servicers. So we do have a public-facing dashboard that breaks down a lot of the data on the Homeowner Assistance Fund on our website as well. So, and that's updated about for every 30 minutes or so. So it's real-time data that's up. The Indiana Emergency Rental Assistance Program, as of June 20th, we've assisted just around 27,000 renters, and we have obligated or paid out just under around $338 million has been obligated or paid. We have a weekly report on the IRA program that gets posted on our website every Tuesday. So the conversation, Brian, you brought up something about the earlier during the board meeting, and I want to bring this up. And I haven't provided an update on it, but during the legislative session, the legislators approved and the governor signed into law a state affordable workforce housing tax credit that will go alongside 4% bond deals. It is a credit that will be for 5 years, $30 million annually over 5 years, so $150 million of credit that will be available for these bond deals, as I think that might be the largest investment our state has ever made into affordable housing. So I'm really proud of the partnerships and the administration for supporting affordable housing, especially during these times when we do have a lot of cost fluctuation and a rising interest rate environment. So these credits are really going to be put to good use. We're really excited about being able to be trusted with administrating these state tax credits. The key performance indicators that you brought up and Alan was sharing, those are going to be instrumental as we develop the policy and the application process. Up until this point, the bond deals have been on a rolling basis. They've not been competitive in terms of us having a specific tax credit round, a bond round for these deals. They come in whenever the deals are ready. But we need to take a look at that. Now that we'll have these state tax credits, we need to have a better understanding of the pipeline and the demand for those credits. So we will need to take a look at the application process. We'll need to take a look at the policy, using some of these indicators, understanding the need for new construction, workforce housing, preservation. So all of those things really will go into as we design the policy and the process for the state tax credits. The applications are not to be accepted until July 1st of 2023. So we do have some time to engage the public and our partners. We do have some plans to engage our housing stakeholders in some of these decision-making that we need to make, and to get their feedback on what does the pipeline look like for the next 5 years, the best that they can help us understand, and what should our priorities be. And then understanding, where we've been over the last 5 years in terms of production, as I mentioned. So all that's going to go in together as we develop a good process and application in policy for the state tax credit. So more to come on that. And we'll be, I think we're planning to start engagement here probably within the next 30 to 60 days. So even though July of next year seems like a long time, but it's not as it comes to developing good policy. So the other thing I just want to mention before I know we have, I see Jason Anderson's here. Jason has been with IHCDA for 9 years. And you give a big wave there, Jason. Jason's been with IHCDA for 9 years and tomorrow's his last day. I just want to congratulate him on his public service and wish him the best of luck as he moves on. So thank you, Jason, for everything you do. Then lastly, our next board meeting is July 28th at 10 a.m. here at IHCDA, and we'll also offer the virtual option as well. So Madam Chair, that's my update for this month.
Great, thank you. Is there any other business for the board?
Madam Chair, I have a small announcement.
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make the board members aware that after this board meeting, you'll be getting 3 documents coming to you for your signature. That would be Rich's 3 bond resolutions. You'll also be getting, Madam Chair and Jake will be getting the minutes for them to sign. So that'll be coming through Adobe Sign. You should have all 3 of them by no later than 2 or 3 o'clock. I try and spread them out so that you don't get them all bunched at the same time. So if you don't have them all by by say 2 or 3 o'clock today, check your spam folder and make sure it's not in there. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, hearing no other business, the meeting is adjourned at 10:43. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.